All right. Hello and welcome to our project, AI Unmasked. And so we've been using AI a lot throughout the semester, or at least we've been talking about it in Zoom sessions and things. But this assignment's going to be a little bit different because you're going to put it to some good use as a way of critically thinking about what does that all mean? What are the consequences? What are some of the ethical issues of artificial intelligence? While putting to work some of these skills that we've honed in earlier projects like the Wikipedia project. So, what's the big picture? Over the next 2 weeks, you'll dive to an AI ethics topic of your choice, which means you got to figure out what it is you want to think about. And then we're going to use a couple of tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity AI, and the newer one, Notebook LM, to brainstorm, research, and analyze what we find about these topics. So the goal isn't just to learn about AI, but to actually reflect deeply on what it means for you, for your academic, for your career, for your personal life. How does this impact you? So, what's the why? Why this project? Okay, so AI is shaping almost every aspect of our world, from the jobs we apply for to the way we process information. But this project is about more than just learning the facts. It's not even really about the tech. It's about asking big questions like, what role is AI playing in shaping our thinking and decision making? And what makes human contributions like yours indispensable in a tech driven world? Basically, like it says on this slide, if AI can do so much, why are you needed? Like, what do you bring to the table? So, by the end of this project, you'll have a better understanding of AI's influence, its ethical implications, and you'll reflect on the value that you bring to the human AI partnerships. So I'm not going to go through all the details on every slide, but these here are some key questions that you should keep in mind that I will ask you to reflect back on when you get to the end of the project. So, what do you bring to the process that AI can't? And how do AI tools shape your thinking, creativity, and decision making? What are the strengths and limitations of AI compared to humans? And back to this, what does it mean for you, your education, your career, your personal life? These questions are the heart of the assignment and will hopefully guide your explorations and your reflections. So, as we go through these different things, those are just a tool for giving you some context to think about the technology and what it means. So here's the big picture. I broke this down, and if you click the links, it'll jump you to different parts of the slides. But week one, this week, discovery and exploration. So I'm going to give you a task. I'm going to have you come through several AI applications that I just mentioned to try different things with different applications. And we've played with a couple of them before, but one of them is a little bit new. And see what you can find out about your topic. It's not a huge research project, so the outcome of this isn't, you're going to write a big paper on whatever the topic is, but you might as well use a topic that you're interested in, right? To explore how these tools work. So that's what we're looking at. How do these tools work, and what does that mean for what we can do with them? And then the second week will be reflection and creation. And so in this week, I'm going to have you define your audience and refine your analysis and then create a deliverable. And so a deliverable is just a project, like a term paper would be a deliverable. That's kind of a boring one, especially now that we've delivered a worldwide global biography, to the real world. Term papers seem a little boring. Anyhow, there's some options. We'll get to that. So you can look at the overview. It's going to break it all down. Here's the evaluation criteria. You can expect to spend like 4 to 6 hours this week and next week each on doing the project, which is about average for a 2 unit class. Here are some ideas of the things you'll accomplish, the outcomes. And in week one, our deliverable for this week is going to be a 1 page summary, not a 10-page term paper, a 1 page summary that will capture your topic, the key research insights, and reflections about the tools. So this is where you're going to document what worked, what didn't work, and how the tool shaped your understanding of the topic that you selected. And documenting is a key term. We'll talk about that. So this week, we're going to focus on discovering exploration. You'll start by brainstorming with ChatGPT to choose a topic that resonates with you. And then you're going to use Perplexity. We've used that before in Zoom to gather credible sources. And then Notebook LM is where you're going to pull all those sources in to a notebook and let the AI analyze it and organize it in several different ways. I want you to experiment, like what can it do? So each of these has a slide that gives some details about how to go through it, give some prompt suggestions. You're not stuck with these, but I wanted to give you some framework for how to interact with the tool. So you're going to brainstorm with ChatGPT, research with Perplexity. A lot of you really liked Perplexity when we used it before. And if you haven't used it, I think you'll find it very interesting. And then curate it with Notebook LM. So last week, I believe it was last week or the week before, I gave you a deep dive podcast because I fed into Notebook LM the wiki assignment slides that I created for you, the guide slides, and all 8 of the biography links. And I had it do some different things with that, including outputting an audio deep dive podcast. And if you didn't have a chance to listen to that, you should go back to the previous announcement where I linked to that because it was mind blowing. The comments I got from people that listened to it, it was just really interesting. And so that would be one of the things that you could create with your own research. So you're going to try to find 3 to 5, maybe 6 links. They could be PDFs, they could be articles online, they could be images, they could be video. I think you can put just about anything into a notebook and have AI analyze and summarize and synthesize. Like try all the ISIS things, see what it can do. And then your deliverable by the end of the week, you're just gonna have a 1-page document. Please put a heading on it, your name, the date, the class, the assignment, the usual stuff. You're going to do the usual sharing. You're going to share it with me in editor mode, and you're going to share general access to anyone with a link. And then you're going to post it. There's a Discord channel. So you'll see an AI Unmasked Discord channel. And I only made one channel for both classes, but everybody in both classes should be able to see this channel. And what you're going to do is you're going to post, use the tag week 1, and then post your main takeaway from the week, like just what's your one big idea from the week, and then a link to your document so people can see what you did. So week 2. This week is all again, or next week's going to all be about reflection and creation. So you put your hands on the tools, you tried out different things, you experimented, you might have had to go find a few resources about how to use it. You get an idea of what's valuable there and what's not, what are some of the ethical issues there and what's not. I'll give you a tip, not a tip, tip's not. Here's one thing that I wonder about when I used all this is it's great. Like when I made that podcast, it was fantastic, super easy, push a button, boom, podcast comes out, analyze the big picture ideas, gave some summaries, did a really nice job, sounded interesting. And if you listen to it and didn't know this or missed that I posted this, an AI made a podcast with AI speakers. Those were not humans talking. Those are AI talking about, anyhow, it's just really interesting. So my question is, you gave it all some really interesting, nice, positive twist on it. But what about bias? What if you feed it a bunch of information that you didn't really read and and it puts a twist on it in a way that, anyhow, I'm curious about the validity and integrity of the output. And if that's all people read is the output, this is just my personal curiosity. If it's all about the output and that's all people read, like they read the little summaries and stuff, they don't read the original source, how would they know if it was incorrect? Right? So you got to kind of know what's in the stuff before you can decide. And maybe next week I'll give you an example because we did this with my husband's dissertation. He's got a PhD in physics. I have no idea what it means. Like I know I've seen it. I know the title's about this long, but anyhow, so those are some of the things that are going around in my head as I'm reflecting on what this technology means. And maybe we'll talk about this in Zoom. Actually, that'd be a good topic. So anyhow, next week you're going to reflect and create. You need to define an audience because that'll help you focus your deliverable, your product that you complete at the end. Okay, is it peers? Is it professionals? Is it the public? Like who are you sharing this information and teaching this to? And then you're going to use your findings to create some sort of deliverable that communicates the insights that you had. So some of the ideas include like you could do an infographic, you could do a short video, you could do a PSA, you could write an essay if you want. You could. The key idea is to integrate all of your analysis and reflections to demonstrate not just what you learned, but how you've engaged with the process. Because remember, it's not like I don't want a tutorial on how to use Notebook LM. I want your reflections and insights about what does this mean? How's it going to impact you? And so you're going to use this product that you create as a way to showcase your learning journey by organizing your materials that you gather. Because all along the way, I want you to document. Like in the first week, when you are there's suggestions on all those slides for how to document. And in the first week, when you're using ChatGPT and you're using Perplexity and you're using Notebook, take screenshots or capture, whatever the output is somehow. My suggestion is to create a Google folder on your Google Drive and just use it for this project and put in all the artifacts, put in the evidence of what you've done so that you can present that at the end as part of your final product. Because that's what I'm really curious about. So again, all of these sections to find an audience, refine with Notebook LM, how to document the final project, everything's so the first week, everything's due Sunday at midnight. The second week of finals week, everything's due Saturday at midnight because that's the end of the semester, is Saturday at midnight. And what I want you to keep doing is looping back around to that. What's the why? What's the why on all this? Loop back to those essential questions on slides 2 and 3. If AI can do all this stuff, what do you bring to the table? Like, what are humans needed for? Because we've got to think about that. So, um, this is your chance to actually think about this, think critically about one of the most impactful technologies of our time. And it's really interesting because I've been around a lot of technology for a long time, and a lot of stuff has made me go wow over the years. But that sort of slowed down. And when ChatGPT came out a couple of years ago, that made me go wow, like this is a game changer. The one before that was CD drives with video. So it's been a while, right? And I've seen a lot of cool stuff, but nothing that made me step back and go, this has got some impact. And then that deep dive podcast made me go, wow, that made my brain spin. So this is super impactful, but it has huge ethical consequences, right? So we've talked about bias and we've talked about representation and we talked about a bunch of stuff. The Wikipedia project, so many things emerged out of that project, and they apply across the board to technology, but we're going to focus in on AI. And so this project is a chance for you to explore deeply, reflect honestly, share your unique perspective. And I am really excited to see what you're going to create. This will be an interesting project, I think.